So I actually believe that you should never use your debit card. And I'm going to share with you in this video 3 reasons why you should not use your debit card. Instead, I think that you should use credit cards. And I think that you should get the biggest credit limit possible and that you should get as many cards as you possibly can. And I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why you should do that in this video. So stay tuned. Watch to the end where I share with you one of my personal credit cards and some of the perks and benefits that I get as I share with you one of the main reasons for having a credit card. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. I absolutely love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. In this video, I'm going to share with you why I don't use debit cards and instead I use credit cards. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that say that using credit cards, you're crazy for using credit cards. Well, I personally believe that if you have a little bit of discipline, credit cards can actually be an incredible tool, an incredible resource for you. Credit cards were originally used or originally created to build capital or create capital for businesses or for people that wanted to be able to have some money right away to be able to do some things. And then, in fact, they were used to buy goods and services and then be able to sell those goods and services later for a profit and then pay back the credit limit. So credit cards then became popular as people wanted to buy more things personally, and unfortunately they've become a significant trap for the undisciplined. However, for those of us who are disciplined and for those of us who know exactly how to use these important tools in our portfolio of financial tools, we are actually making a killing. Credit card companies absolutely hate me because I make a ton of money on them. They don't make money on me, I make money on them. So the first reason why I think it's important for you to use credit cards instead of a debit card is the first reason is that a credit card will help you build your credit. Building credit is important. You need to have better credit. You need to have good credit if you want to be able to buy a house, to buy a car, and not just be able to buy those things, but to get good interest rates. One of the most expensive things that we'll pay for is an interest rate. So if you buy a car, for example, and the interest rate is 10%, you're going to spend a lot more money on that car than if you had an interest rate that was 3 or 4%, if that makes sense. And your credit score helps determine whether or not they're going to charge you that higher amount. And so the higher your credit score, the better your credit score, the less they'll charge you, the less you'll end up having to pay, and the better off you are financially. I don't know very many people that can go through life without having a loan at some point in their life, whether that's a loan to buy a home or whether that's a loan to buy a car, and a lot of other things are determined by your credit score. In fact, I've heard lately that a lot of people, to be able to even rent a house or to rent an apartment, you have to have a really good credit score. So having a good, strong credit score is important. That tells people how well you pay your bills, how well you manage your money, and if you're doing well, if you have a high credit score, it usually means you're managing your money well, you're paying your bills on time at least, you're not racking up a ton of debt. And then one of the reasons why I shared with you earlier that you should get the biggest balance you possibly can is because when you're building your credit, the amount of credit that you use based on the amount of credit that you have available to you is a significant indicator of how your credit score can be increased or improved or be strengthened by that. For example, if you have a $10,000 credit card and you're using $5,000 of it, that's a 50% usage rate. So that's not as good as somebody who's using only 3,000 or 2,000 or 1,000. The best is to keep it under 30% utilization. And if you really want to have good results, they'll go with under 10% utilization. That's one of the reasons why I suggest you have a huge credit limit, because that huge credit limit will allow you to spend money and you put money on the card that you can keep that under a 10% utilization. And so every time I get an offer to increase my credit limit, I accept it because that keeps me under that 10% utilization, which keeps my credit score growing and maintaining and moving in the right direction. Now, I shared with you also that I think you should get as many credit cards as possible. Now, the concern there is you don't want to get credit cards like one after the other within 3 or 4 months. You want to get like 10 credit cards in a 6-month period. But what you do is you can get a couple of credit cards all at once to kind of get established. But then every year, I would highly recommend that at least once a year, get a new credit card. And I think it's important to have a Visa card, to have a MasterCard, to have a Discover, to have an American Express, to have one of each kind of card. And then once you have one of each kind of card, then you can kind of look and see what are different perks that you'd like to have in the cards that you're going to get, which I'll talk about in the third thing. But before I get to that, let's talk about the second reason why I think it's important for you to have credit cards and not use your debit cards. So this is something that's very important that I think that most people overlook: fraud protection. If you were to charge your debit card online or somewhere and somebody got your numbers and they started running up a bill or started using your account fraudulently, you're literally going to be stuck with that money. That money's gone. It was from your bank account. It came out. You're going to be stuck with those bills. And even if you have to do a fraudulent report, the bank, it may or may not give you that money right away. You may have to go without money for several days or maybe even weeks before that whole thing gets worked out and they find the situation and they credit back the money and the account. So I always use credit cards for any of my online purchases and anything that I'm doing, because anytime something goes wrong or anytime that a product or service isn't delivered properly, you can call your credit card and you can dispute it, and they don't make you pay. Usually they don't make you pay until the dispute is over. So that's excellent. You can keep your cash handy, you can keep your cash ready to pay your mortgage and pay your other bills, and then these fraudulent charges on your credit card can be worked out and you have time to work them out and you still have cash in the meantime. Does that make sense? So one of the main reasons why I use my credit card and definitely don't use my credit card is because I like to have that extra layer of protection. If I swipe my card anywhere and it's a credit card, I'm going to have extra layer of protection against anything that's fraudulent or any fraudulent activity that happens on that card. This last year, I bought something from somebody and they delivered a faulty product. I tried to return it. There was a big back and forth. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to call my credit card. Sure enough, the credit card company said, let us handle it for you. They credited my account. I didn't have to pay, and everything was good to go, and it was all resolved by my credit card. Now, some of these companies, they'll listen to a credit card company more than they'll listen to me. So that was another huge reason why I think that having a credit card against those protective, those fraudulent activities, or even against activities where you might be arguing with a company about a product or service that they should have delivered that didn't, or if it was a faulty something that you got from them that didn't work and you want to return it, you can have your credit card help you with that argument, help you with that negotiation, and they have a lot more sway. Now, the third reason why I think that credit cards are awesome especially over debit cards, is because of the perks and the rewards. So I absolutely love cashback credit cards. I love those because I have a ton of them. In fact, almost all my credit cards are cashback credit cards. I have up to 6% back. I have an American Express Blue card and I can get 6% back on grocery shopping. There's cards that give you 5% back on gas, and the way gas prices are going, 5% back is a very welcomed situation. There's places that give you 4% back at restaurants and 3% back at this and 2% back at that. And there's credit cards that give you 1.5% back for everything. Of course, there's the traditional 1% for everything too. So I love the cash back because I utilize those. In fact, I'm going to share with you in a minute what I got back as a cashback reward on my Chase Amazon card. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you, what credit cards do you have and why do you have those? Do you like the cashback perks, or do you like the travel perks or the other perks that are available? One of my buddies was telling me today that actually he has a credit card that gives him miles for an airline, and he loves flying and traveling, and so he uses whatever he gets from that credit card on his travel and his being able to buy airline tickets and whatnot. My dad actually told me the other day that he got a credit card from an airline and ended up taking care of his whole flight just from applying for the credit card. He only had to pay like $50 or something for the airline and for the flights, and then of course that is going to be something that he can continue to use and accumulate points for that. So what do you like to use credit cards for? Do you like cash back? Do you like points? Do you like the rewards? Do you agree that it's better to have protection, an additional layer of protection by having a credit card? Put a comment below and let me know what you think about the usage of credit cards. Now again, if you're not disciplined, if you're somebody that doesn't have good, strong discipline, this is not a strategy that I recommend, because you're probably going to end up in debt and you're going to end up messing yourself up even worse. So definitely make sure that you have a good, strong discipline. All right, now let me show you what I made as a rewards, cashback rewards, and my Amazon card this last year. As of the recording of this video is January 3rd, 2023, and this was what I got back from from one of my cards. This is just one of my cards from Amazon Chase. So here you go. So I got $1,030.05. That's a comma. I had a comma that I got back from my credit card company. The thing about Amazon purchases is that I use a lot of this to buy the next thing or to help me, and as I'm buying on Amazon regularly, I'll use these credits to help me buy the next thing the next month or the next time I buy something on Amazon. Now, I love Amazon. I get 5% back on their Chase. With their Chase Prime card, you earn 5% back on anything that you purchase with Amazon. To me, that's totally worth it. So I'm going to shop on Amazon anyways. I might as well get a 5% discount. Getting 5% back is, to me, the same as getting a 5% discount on things, because just because I don't get the discount on the thing I'm buying, the 5% comes to me so that I use that as a credit on the next thing that I buy. So it ends up working itself out. So this last year, I had $1,000, over $1,000 in cash back from just one of my cards. So what are the perks and rewards that you've got? What's the best year you've had? I think this is actually less than the year or two before. I think I had a $1,300 year at some point in my past. So $1,000 a comma check cash back, not too bad, not too shabby. I hope you got a lot out of this video. I hope you realize why, or some reasons why you might choose to have a credit card over a debit card. Again, if you have no discipline or very little discipline and you really want to make sure that you're on track and managing your money, stick with the debit card for now. until you can learn to manage your money and really work the system properly, I would say stay with a debit card until you get that skill down, and then use credit cards, because man, they can be an absolute incredible opportunity for you to build your credit, to have an extra layer of protection, and then to have fantastic rewards. If you missed the last video I produced, you can catch it here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel up here and check out this video up here that YouTube thinks you might like. Until the next video, have a great day.